Hello guys, and welcome to another Macho Luco video channel video. And today we're talking about the very disturbing case of Patrick Welsh, who went missing on April 15th, 2005. And basically he was dropped off at an Amtrak train station in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to arrive at Pennsylvania Station at about 4:35 p.m. He told his mom and his roommate Adam that he was going to New York to visit friends at Columbia, and that's basically all that was known about his trip, his train trip. And there was some rumors, or like he was a music fan. He was supposedly going to catch a few concerts, which would have been very possible, obviously, in New York, but there was no witness accounts, no witness confirmation of him being at any concert on the evening of the 15th of April 2005. So Patrick was a 22-year-old professional writing student at New York University at Pennsylvania. And like, as you'll see very quickly, this disappearance very much fits the profile points laid out by David Paulides in his books. And even though there's few details here, you'll see how, in spite of that, this kind of case unfortunately gets very quickly compartmentalized into a very mundane, box, if you will. But only when we dig, as we do here, will we know that this is another one of those cases that needs a lot more attention than it got, right? So basically, after checking Patrick's phone records, the authorities determined that there was one call placed in Midtown at 9:30 p.m. on the night of the 15th. In this case, we don't have a clear point of separation, because the moment he boarded the train, he was basically separated from his friends and family. However, we are assuming everything was fine, because as you'll see later, there's evidence of him making it to New York, right? But there was nothing unusual about this call, apparently, and it was a call he would have made any other day, so nothing suspicious there. A development that was also present in the other cases was the discovery of Patrick's cell phone. So, just like we've seen in other cases that we've talked about here, his cell phone was found away from his eventual location. So, a New York Times article stated that someone other than Patrick used the cell phone to make a call on April 18th, 2005. This turned out to be a homeless man, John Koppinger, who used the cell phone to call his dad. And John was ruled out as a suspect as far as Patrick's disappearance was concerned, after he stated that he found a cell phone in a vacant lot in the Mount Eden section of the city. So basically, just like we saw cell phones in weird locations in other cases that we've looked at on this channel, same here. This was a phone found in a vacant lot, and in New York, 2005, you find a phone that's working, and you use it, right? You're gonna, especially if you're a homeless person, you find a phone on the ground. If it still works and you can charge it, hey, you're gonna use it, right? And this is exactly what happened here. So police searched the entire area where the cell phone was found. It was basically by Biscoe Place and Undercliff Avenue, but they did not find any further evidence of Patrick or any of Patrick's effects in that area, unfortunately. On June 2nd, 2005, at 12:50 p.m., floating in the Hudson River by 79th Street Boat Basin, Patrick's body was discovered. Patrick was identified using dental records, and there was no clear cause of death at the time of the discovery. Almost a year later, so after the pathologists had a good year to look at the body, so almost a year later, in April of 2006, a Sunday News Daily Record article stated that due to a lack of evidence on the body, very familiar, right? And from witnesses, also very familiar in these cases, the cause of death could not be determined. So after a full year of investigation and the body being available to pathologists and the authorities, they could not come up with a cause of death. And this was April of 2005, and then 2006 was when this final article was published. So if you can imagine what, again, could have happened to Patrick, where he ended up in the water with no injuries, no visible injuries, nothing that the pathologists, in the lab could come up with. That's very strange, right? So, again, lots of commonalities to the other cases on this channel, right? Patrick's body was found nearly 3 miles downstream from where his phone was found, okay? And there was no, like I said, there was no clear, there were no clear wounds or marks on the body suggesting violence. So if you logically think about it, maybe he got mugged, right? It's New York, it's possible. It's a big city. He wasn't, he was a tourist at this point, young guy, but you would have to assume they would take his phone. That's one of the first things that people go after if they are going to mug you, right? They're going to go after your phone, your valuables, your watch, phone, jewelry, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't risk the risk is too high if you're not gonna go for those kinds of items, right? But there you go. The phone was on the vacant lot, and it was working. It wasn't smashed. It wasn't. There was no sign of struggle. So the phone was good enough for the homeless person to call it their dad, right? So there you go. So that doesn't make any sense, right? And this is yet another case where the details differ, but the MO is the same. So the modus operandi, guys, the fact that whatever or whoever is responsible for this was quick, stealthy, very vague motive, right? Because again, the robbery wasn't the motive. There was very scant details on the state of the body in terms of the clothing, guys. So sorry about that. I couldn't dig up details on this one in particular. I would be very curious to see what was missing off of Patrick's body when he was pulled out of the water in terms of clothing. Very, very curious about that. But having said that, that's all we have on this case. However, you can see how the MO is the same, guys. So please comment down below with what you think happened. This is very uncharacteristic of Patrick. He would always, if something were to go off, he would always, or go wrong, he would contact his friends and family. So we have very little information also from his actual friends at the Columbia University there, whether they actually met up with him or not. Obviously, no is the suspicion, but they couldn't fill in many of the gaps that we are looking for in this case, right? So what do you think happened, guys? Please post your comments below, post your theories, and for the most part, just post if you're in this kind of forensic world and you're much more attuned to this stuff than I am. Post how, in your experience, you believe it's easy or difficult to dispose of a body into a river. And I'm only asking this I'm not asking this for any sinister reason. I'm asking it because all these latest cases I've been talking about involve a body in the water in a very visible public urban place, right? So you would assume, right? You would agree with me that even if you're some kind of specialist at this in a sick way, you know when and where to do it so that you wouldn't get seen and discovered, right? Because again, the risk is as high as it gets, right? When you're doing this, guys, when you're disposing of anything like that, if you've done a terrible crime, you're going to be very much looking to not be, discovered as you dispose of the body. And the other thing, of course, is how do you make sure that there's literally nothing on that body tying you to the case, to the crime, right? That to me is astounding, how that can happen over and over and over again, and the pathologists just say, sorry, we have no definitive answer. That's very disturbing, guys, because this stuff is still happening to this day, right? So post your comments below. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and my little furry friend over there. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video, guys, and thank you for watching. Smash the like button if you like what you're seeing, and we'll get another video up very soon.